What's good YouTube, Akil here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be giving you guys just 5 tips on some things that you guys can do with that $600 stimulus check in order to stretch that money and possibly turn that $600 into $12 and that $1,200 into $24. So if you guys are interested in these type of videos, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright y'all, so first tip that I have for you guys, and of course I'm not a financial expert or a financial guru at all. I'm just somebody that likes to use money and just make sure that my money is actually working for me. So first tip that I have for you guys is to simply just invest that money. And 2 of the platforms that I like to use in order to invest my money is Acorns and Stash. Now these 2 platforms are very similar, and I'll probably make a separate video kind of breaking down the differences in between both of them. But for me, I like to use both apps at the same time. And the thing what you can do with this is simply just invest a portion of that money into either one of those Acorns or Stash accounts, or you can invest the whole thing, and within a few months you can definitely start to see a return. Now if you're on the younger side, a suggestion that I have for you guys is to invest a little more aggressively, especially since you have more time on your side. And if you're more like a conservative or more of like a moderate type of investor and you don't want to risk too much money, you can definitely go ahead and choose a more moderate or just less aggressive portfolio option. So I'll make sure I link both of those platforms in the description below. And if you guys use my affiliate link, I'll get $5 and you'll get $5 as well. So definitely consider that, because it will definitely help out the channel, and at the end of the day you'll be getting free money and I'll be getting free money, so everybody wins. Now another app that you guys can use in order to invest in stocks is using Robinhood. Now I use Robinhood on a day-to-day basis, and that's where I purchase my individual stocks. Now like I told you guys earlier in the video, I'm no like financial expert or anything like that, but some of the stocks that I initially purchased when I first got into investing was just some of the stuff that I use on a daily basis. And thankfully at that time some of those stocks weren't as expensive. So stuff like eBay, stuff like Nike, stuff like Adidas, you know, even Netflix if you can afford it, Netflix, Amazon, those types of stocks. Those are the types of stocks that I was initially purchasing, and you guys can go ahead and do the same thing. Of course, once you're doing research, try to find stocks that pay dividends. That way you can actually see a faster return. Now keeping things going in terms of the investments, now a ton of people will tell you guys to invest in stocks, but if you guys follow the channel, you guys know that I actually invest in shoes. Now I'm not one of those people that buy a ton of hype shoes and use bots and stuff like that. I might actually be doing that a little later on in the future, so stay tuned for that. But personally, what I like to do in terms of investing in shoes is simply just buying shoes at a lower cost and selling them for more money. Now I'm sure you guys are familiar with websites like StockX and GOAT and of course eBay, and all of those platforms are really good for you to start on. And why I say investing in shoes is a really good option, especially with that $600, is because shoes right now are just at an all-time high. People are, you know, craving these types of sneakers. So if you can get your hands on a pair of Air Jordan 1s or a pair of like retro sneakers, any type of shoes that honestly right now are selling for a really good amount of money. So one thing that you can do is to start by going to places like, you know, Ross, DD's Discount, Marshalls, Burlington. I don't even know why I said DD's Discount. I don't even go there, but you guys know what it is. You easily can just go to some discount stores, spend maybe $200 to $300 of that stimulus check, and easily make some decent profit. Now you might have to buy some shoes that say $20 and sell it for $50 to see, you know, a $20 profit margin like that. But at the end of the day, that $600 is free money, and trust me, those small profits always add up. And I know a lot of people are kind of turned off in terms of small profits, but for me, if I can easily double my money and see 100% ROI, that's something I'll grab up any given day. So you guys can definitely start small, because that's what I did, and I continue to do that to this day, and it's been working wonders for me. Now another huge tip that I have for you guys, and this is something that I'm personally going to be doing, is just using that stimulus check to pay off debt. Now I recently just purchased my first home, and my debt to income ratio is kind of high, but it was mainly because of student loan debt. And right now we're actually in the forbearance period, and what that means is that, you know, basically everything is on hold. Right now they're not, you know, you don't necessarily have to make any payments, but if you can make a payment right now, that'll be really good for you to do, because they're not charging interest on those student loan payments. So if you guys are like me and you have student loans, definitely put that money towards your student loans, or put that money towards, you know, some investments, and then put those profits towards paying off some of your debt. You can do whatever it is that you want to do with that $600, but personally I know that's what I'm going to be doing, mainly because that $600 is going to go straight to the principal. And you know, once the forbearance period is over, you'd realize that a lot of the money that you're putting towards any student loan debt or any debt at all usually just go straight to interest, and then a portion of that goes to the principal. So as of right now, it's a really good time just to kind of take advantage of this time period and put some of that money towards the principal of your debt and lower your overall debt to income. That way you can possibly buy a home, buy a new car, start a business. Once you have good credit, the options are in. Now, another good tip that I have for you guys is to simply put that $600 stimulus check into a high yield savings account. Now, when I first started my savings account, I was using Ally Bank, and at that time they had a really good interest rate in terms of their savings account. But now, of course, because of the pandemic, all savings account, especially online savings account, went from like 3 or 2% all the way down to like 0.5 and 0.6%. So at this point, putting your money into a high yield savings account isn't going to bring you a ton of money in the future. But at the end of the day, they always say the average American doesn't even have $500 in their savings account in terms of emergency. And since we're getting this $600 for free, you might as well just put it into a savings account just in case any emergencies may happen in the future. And not to mention, at least if you put that $600 away, you won't be considered the typical average American anymore. Now, the next tip I have for you guys, and this one is probably one of my favorite ones and probably the most beneficial ones that you can do for yourself, and that is to simply invest in yourself. Now, I kind of touched on that earlier when I was talking about investing in shoes, but you guys can simply just invest in yourself by taking an online course that you was always considering doing, or even starting a business that you always wanted to start but were just afraid to do it, or you were just too pressed for cash. And honestly, even though $600 isn't a ton of money, most small businesses are usually started with either $0 or maybe $500 or less. So definitely take advantage of that $600 stimulus check and just try to make that money work for you. At the end of the day, the US government is sending us this $600 stimulus check in hopes that we just go out to Walmart or Target and just blow that money. But trust me, that's definitely not something that you want to do. You want to make sure that you're using this $600 and you're using it wisely, and that you can actually see a return on your investments that you're doing. And even though, like I told you guys, I'm not like a financial expert or a guru or anything like that, these are just some simple basic things that you guys can do to easily see a return on that $600. And you never know, one day you can actually turn that 600 into 12, that 12 into 24, because that's basically what I did, and I'm doing pretty well for myself now, and I'm going to continue making those small investments, because at the end of the day, I think that's what this is all about, just using whatever money or resources that you have and just waiting until that money can actually grow and work for you. Now, another tip that I have for you guys, and this is kind of a bonus because I was only planning on dropping 5 tips, but another tip that I have for you guys is to just not go out there and spend all your money with, like, you know, Amazon and Target and Walmart, all of these big conglomerate corporations. Try to support small businesses. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys which small business to support, but my rationale behind just wanting to support small businesses is because at the end of the day, if you go ahead and support a small business, whether it's, you know, a t-shirt owner or a candle business or somebody that just literally running a small business out of their home, that $600 is going to do way more for the economy and way more for, you know, regular American families, as opposed to, you know, spending that money with Walmart and Target and all these other big huge conglomerates. Because like I said, at the end of the day, that's what they're giving us the $600 for us to go ahead and just spend the money and kind of boost the economy that way. But if you do want to go ahead and spend any type of money, make sure you're spending it wisely, and I think one of the best ways to do that is to spend that money with a small business owner. Alright y'all, that's all I have for today's video. So if you guys enjoyed that one, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you guys have any other tips that people can do to use that $600 and make that money work for them, definitely drop that in the comment section, because I'll always learn some really good, interesting tips from you guys. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.